Welcome back. As a part of this lecture, we'll try to understand a structured API execution at a high level. First and foremost thing is, you would have written a beautiful code in either SQL or data frame or dataset. When you have written a code by using the structured APIs, what will you do is either you will submit it through a console or a job, Spark job. Once that is done, that will be passed on to a Catalyst optimizer. After that, what happens is Catalyst optimizer converts that into a logical plan as a part of that. Once that is done, that will be converted into physical plan. Then that physical plan is executed across the different executors in a cluster. So we have a user code which we have written that is submitted through a console or a submitted job, that is passed on to a Catalyst optimizer, that is converted into a logical plan, that is in turn converted into a physical plan. This is the physical plan which is getting executed across the different machines in a cluster. This is how the overall execution appears. Let us try to understand little bit more in detail. Let us consider this phase, logical phase, as phase 1 and this phase as phase 2. Let us drill down a bit more and understand that further. As a part of the logical plan, let us say you have submitted the user code either through SQL, data frame or a data set. So now what happens is, in the first instance, you have an unresolved logical plan. What does that mean? You have written an expression, or rather developer has written an expression or a function or some operations. As a part of that, you would be using some tables, columns and all those things. Based on your knowledge, you would have written those expressions by including the tables and views. But that may not be always right. What is happening here is, Spark has a catalog which maintains the information about tables and also columns. I mean valid ones. Okay. So whatever the code you have submitted is compared with the tables and columns in the catalog, and if it is fine, then only it will be passed on to the next stage. An analyzer is analyzing all these things, whether the columns, tables, whatever you are referring in your code is fine or not. The moment all these things are resolved, means whether the table is what you are referring is right, the columns what you are referring is right, then it will become a resolved logical plan, because it is resolved. The resolved logical plan will go through a logical optimization through a Catalyst optimizer. This is the one which is doing the logical optimization. What essentially is happening here is, let us say you would have written multiple filters. If you remember, we would have already seen one example where we are trying to have some 3 to 4 filters. Even though we wanted some only 50 records, we have to go through so many records as a part of the earlier transformations. Now that doesn't make sense, right? That is where Catalyst optimizer looks at the code of a user and sees which filter has to be applied at what stage. Once this optimization is done, we'll get a optimized logical plan. Isn't it good? Now that we understood the logical plan, how the unresolved plan is converted into optimized logical plan, let us go further. This is a phase 1 what we just looked at. Now let us try to understand how does the phase 2 looks like, that is the physical plan. Input for the physical plan is the optimized logical plan, isn't it? Because that is how the sequence is happening. Now optimized logical plan, as a part of the physical planning, it produces multiple physical plans, like plan 1, plan 2, plan 3, by sequencing different operations and all those things in terms of RDD transformations and all those things. Now after that, what happens is, these plans which are already produced by a Spark are subjected to cost model analysis. What essentially is happening as a part of the cost model analysis is there the plan whatever you are having is taking the least amount of time or not. For example, now whatever the joints you have mentioned, is it mentioned properly or not? Okay, so like that multiple points are verified, validated, and out of all these multiple physical plans, best physical plan is chosen. The best physical plan. After best physical plan is chosen, that is the one which is getting executed across the different executors in a cluster. Isn't it wonderful? We understood how the execution of structured API happens, right from user code till the execution of the code across the different executors in a cluster. Thank you.